What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is Kevin with Optimized Essentials, and in today's video we're going to be talking about when should you stop doing semen retention, nofap, sexual transmutation, etc, etc, etc. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is for two reasons mostly. Okay, number one, it's for me because I've questioned this to myself, right? I'll explain in a little bit. And then number two is for you, the viewer. Okay, so first let me explain my part. Why am I asking this question? Why am I making this video? Because if you don't know, if this is your first time watching me or the channel, visiting the channel, welcome. Just a little thing about me, I'm into optimization, human optimization, the essentials to optimizing your life. Now, this could be posture, this could be nutrition, this could be mind programming, subconscious programming, affirmations, spirituality, personal development, anything that it takes to allow the human body, the human mind, the spiritual essence of us to be optimized, I'm going to cover. Now, semen retention, sexual transmutation, a lot of these topics are super deep and super powerful and super useful because at the core of all existence, at the core of all being, human beings, sexual energy is the essence in which we came from. Everything is sexual. Everything is sexy. We only stigmatize sexuality because we think of it as like, ooh, me horny, me want to fuck. Yeah. Right? Now, to go back to what I'm saying, why did I ask this question? Because as many of you know or haven't, if you're new, I've been on semen retention for the longest of 13 months, 11 months, and I started back up, and I'm back at closing 10 months. In November, by the end of November, I should be at 1 full year. So I believe it was November 25th. I don't remember the exact date, but it was the end of November of last year where I decided to do semen retention once again. And to be honest and truthful with you, I've had wet dreams probably like 2 or 3 times, just to be honest. Now, I don't think wet dreams technically count as conscious relapse, or at least I don't classify it. I think there are some theories and there are some conceptions or ideas of why we have wet dreams, and I'll explain that a little bit later. But basically, I don't think it's the same as consciously choosing to blow a load, okay? Supposedly, it's just protein, right? There's the sperm and the seminal fluid. The sperm and sexual energy, when you consciously jerk it or have sex with a girl, gets infused with the seminal fluid so that it can, go in. When you have wet dreams, it's just the seminal fluid. The seminal fluid, I guess you can argue, if you want to be more technical, it's not. I think, when I was on Facebook, some guy asked, did you have wet dreams? Because I posted for the first time, like my first streak of longest of 7 months. He asked, he was like, oh yeah, it's powerful stuff. Did you have any wet dreams? And I felt like he was trying to kind of invalidate my 7-month semen retention because I had wet dreams. But if you want to look at it that way, that's fine. Technically speaking, if you count seminal fluid as a relapse, then sure. I didn't consciously choose any ejaculation during these 10 months. I've only had nocturnal emissions. And again, I think it's your body's way of releasing, he called it clearing the pipes, which I agree with. And I thought about it, it's clearing the pipes. The sexual energy, or not sexual energy, the semen, right, within your body, the seminal fluid, the times that I've had my wet dreams is when I ate a lot during night, especially when I had foods high in cholesterol, meaning if I ate a lot of eggs, if I ate a lot of fats, if I had a big meal, that will cause my sexual area to be super, not inflamed, but you get the idea. But basically, what I'm trying to say here is this. I did semen retention for 13 months, 11 months, now I'm going on 10 months, and, I thought about it, when should I stop? Right? When should I stop doing this? Forever and ever and ever? When should I stop? So I'm going to give my personal perspective, and then I'm also going to give you this, what I wrote down in the notes, so I don't ramble on, okay? So personally for me, here are my 2 conditions, 2 criterias in terms of when I'll stop doing semen retention. Number 1, I will stop when I make it, meaning when I either manifest the dreams, the type of business, the type of uh, wealth and prosperity, basically when I've achieved my goals, okay? Until I am making the type of money that I want, until I'm having the type of success that I want, until I'm the type of man that I want, because there's a lot of weakness. I still have a lot of, beta, right? Inner bitch. That's what it's a better term, right? Just not standing up for yourself, not voicing yourself, not being the man that you can be until I become the man that I am comfortable with, or not. I wouldn't say I'm not uncomfortable with myself, but that I'm content, right? That I'm like proud of myself. And it's not that I'm not proud of myself, but until I basically am satisfied at where I am in life, or number two, I meet someone that I want to have sex with, that I'm willing to blow a load with. Now that sounds kind of like, oh, you're only doing semen retention because you can't have sex with a woman, incel. You're incel, right? And I thought about that too. I'm gonna make a video on incel versus semen retention, because there's a fine line and then there's also an overlap. Okay, now I've had opportunities to have sex with women, but they're not the type of woman I would like to have sex with or waste my time with or waste my semen on. And I'm only saying this because it's like saving up money again, right? The more vibrant, the more vitality, the more energy, juju you have, the more attractive you become to certain female. Now, were there females that I wanted to have sex with that wasn't down for it? Probably because I didn't play my cards right, or I didn't. I'm not. When it comes down to women and pickup and all that stuff, sometimes I'm good, sometimes I'm bad. It takes a lot of investment to get good at women. You have to date around. You have to study, the dynamics of women's psychology, of how to flirt and all that stuff. And it's like I could be using that energy and turning into my purpose, turning it into my business, basically, right? So those are the two criteria. Number one, I build myself up. I build my business. I build something that I'm truly passionate about to the point where I'm happy with my results, or I meet someone that's worthy of having sex with, okay? Now, these are my two criteria. Now, if an opportunity comes around where I'm like, ooh, and I accidentally blow a load, then that's I'm not going to hit on myself for that, So that's my criteria, okay? Those are the two. Now, to answer your question, for you, okay? When should you stop doing semen retention? Number one, why are you asking this, okay? Why are you asking this? Okay, that's the first thing. Why are you asking this question? A, are you asking because you're not feeling the benefits? Number two, is it because you're not getting a hard-on, right? You're not getting that morning wood. You're not getting that, like, super erection that needs to bang everything in its sights? Are you constantly obsessing about sex, right? If you're on semen retention, nofap, and you're constantly like, "Ooh, I'm sexually frustrated. I gotta hold it down. Beautiful girl, booty butt, bubble butt. I gotta pound," right? If you're constantly obsessing about sex and you can't regulate and control your sexuality, there's a chance that this is why you're asking the question. Number four, or D, are you worried you won't produce semen anymore or get prostate cancer, right? If you hold in your semen for too long, what happens if you just can't ejaculate anymore? Or what happens if you can't get prostate cancer? Well, let me quickly explain. So when I stopped my 11-month streak, I noticed that when I did ejaculate, it wasn't like I didn't have a huge load, right? I didn't have like a humongous load. It was like half what I remember what I would have before. So I'm like, why is this? And like, it just felt different, right? My erections, they were still there. It just like, I wasn't like super, super rock hard, right? And I was trying to figure out why was that the case? There's multiple factors. I think it's a combination of vitality, vigor and vitality, life force energy, your diet, and also not using your dick and your ejaculational pathways for a long time. Meaning, when I stopped my 11-month streak, it's been 11 months since I beat my meat, and I finished ayahuasca, and I was like vegan the most of the time, and then I had Chipotle, and then I was like, oh man, humongous sexual energy. So this time I do ayahuasca again in October or December. I'm not going to I'm going to do my best to not eat too much meat afterwards. I'm going to try and vegan it out for a little bit, and then slowly introduce fish and stuff like that, and be a little bit more. And then another question is, because I'm going to go to Colombia, if I meet some hot girls and I'm down to hook up, like I'll basically assess. But anyways, what I'm trying to say here is this: your seminal production, I think, will start to regulate as once you end your relapse, or not run, once you end your streak and you decide to get back into ejaculating once a week, once or twice a week. I wouldn't do it more than once a week, guys. I think that's kind of pushing the boundaries. But prostate cancer, are you serious about getting prostate cancer doing semen retention? Debatable. I don't know. I don't think I have prostate cancer. My body will let me know. But yeah, I don't get insane rushes of sexual urges anymore. I still do if I eat certain things or if I think a certain thought. But every now and then I try to intentionally have fantasies so that I can invoke that sexual feeling and feel my balls and make sure my little brother, that's what they call it in Chinese, your silo, your little brother is still working, the guy downstairs. And then there's also stuff online that tells you to massage your balls every now and then and to basically keep the energy flowing. Because if I'm going to be honest, if you do sexual semen retention for too long, it's easy to keep bringing the energy up and forgetting to bring it back down. Meaning, if you're so busy sucking the energy up, sometimes the reason why you don't get boners or you don't get that morning wood anymore is because you don't allow it to fill up your sexual energy centers, right? You don't allow it to fill up your sexual organs. I'm at work, guys, so let me make sure this guy isn't coming in. Okay, anyways, you want to make sure that you're still allowing sexual energy to build up there and to get an erection and to basically feel that sexual dragon, right? The dragon of sexual energy. That's what I do my best to do. I try to invoke the sexual energy and then I'll transmute it through breath work, okay? So that's number one. Number two, once you've identified why you're asking the question, know that it's a dangerous path of asking this question, because if you trick yourself into believing that semen retention is supposedly bad for you, if you do it for too long, then you'll relapse, right? You'll basically reason yourself into relapsing, okay? Now, that's a slippery slope. If I were to be completely honest, because I'm on semen retention, I'm biased, I definitely think there's pros and cons. What the cons, some of the people, when I've looked it up, said that it could depress and retard your hormones. I don't think that's necessarily the case. It can if you're doing it wrong, meaning you're constantly suppressing your sexual energy and you're not circulating it properly. That's the only reason why I can think of it, because like I don't feel like I have hormonal issues, you know? My testosterone feels like it's pretty high, especially if I work out correctly, if I eat correctly. The only con that I would say is you're not as sexual, you know? You're not as like primal, like getting rock hard boners and like random, just, I mean, it just doesn't, you're not as like childish with your sexual energy. It's not like you get what I'm trying to say? Like when you're going through puberty, you're just getting random erections. You're not as triggered sexually, and you're not as infantile about it. And like your boners aren't going to be super crazy, right? And that's where I think it's like if you don't use it, you lose it kind of sense. But it's not that. It's more so like you have to train your erection. You know what I'm saying? It'll take some time to build back up to where you at before, because the more you use your boner, the more you use your dick. It's not that it goes away, right? Your dick doesn't really get smaller because you do semen retention. It's just, it's not as, because you've been transmuting, you've been circulating it, right? It's been turned into ojas, okay? So if you're having trouble having an erection, which I don't have, right? Like I still get morning wood if I work out properly, eat correctly. I just don't get as many erections as I used to. Basically what I'm trying to say. But if I were to end my streak because I'm in a relationship with someone, my theory, my suspicion is I would just have to train myself, train my dick to become more potent, right? And I don't think there's gonna be a problem with that. There might be if that's the con. That might potentially be, but I doubt it, okay? I doubt it. Now I could be biased, again, okay. So, number 3, are there dangers to semen retention? So we kind of went over this. I wrote this a while back. I said IMO, so in my opinion, no. Could be biased, only if you do it incorrectly, meaning no breath work, poor diet, you're iron willing, your suppression, you're just forcing it. You should have little to no sexual desire because successful transmutation happens automatically, right? Meaning that instant vigor and vitality of sexual sexual desire, right, of sexual attraction gets transmuted into higher faculties, right? You'll be more intuitive, more sensitive, have more life force energy. Your life force energy, when it builds up, it turns into ojas, right? And look it up, OJAS. I'll make another video describing all the Indian terminology because it's been a while since I looked into it and I have to brush up on my definitions and, prepare better. Okay, so B, there is a dark side, meaning you could become overly aggressive, prideful, arrogant, dominant, irritable, etc. And in my opinion, that's a lot of it has to do with diet and events. If you watch some of my videos in the past during the heat of COVID, it was the peak of, I would say it's like the peak of my semen retention sexual transmutation experience, where I was charged up on semen retention and sexual energy, and I was creating the sexual manifestation program. So I was on purpose, I was on track, and I had to stand up for myself during this whole COVID bullshit, right? Where I don't know what your stance is again, but if you watch my videos, you know my stance. People were telling me to wear masks at a gym, and I was very rebellious, and I stood up for myself for the first time. And I was like, yeah, I'm a man now, I spoke up for myself, I asserted my masculinity. Yeah, I'm a man, so I was in that mood of like, I'm gonna dark side, right? The dark aspects of my masculinity. But yeah, that could be, it's more of like a egoic thing, right? You have so much energy, you feel like you're above everyone, you have like, oh yeah, bro, I've been on semen retention for 6 months, you're a dweeb, man, fuck you, yeah, it's like that kind of vibe. So that's the dark side of it. Number 4, when should you stop doing semen retention? Number 4, do you want babies or kids? If you want babies or kids, you should stop doing semen retention, right? And then number 5, should you ejaculate during sex? Now, and my initial response was no, right? In my opinion, no, unless it's stuck there. I would say it's yes and no, right? If I'm going to have sex with a girl that I'm just down to hook up with, like I'm going to Colombia in December, hopefully travel restrictions and all of that is cool. If I meet someone that I want to hook up with and just have a hookup, I'm going to do my best to not blow a load. But there's also the not fear, but like, oh man, I haven't had sex in a while. Maybe I won't be able to perform, and like maybe I might accidentally just blow my load. And there's a lot of like, oh, I'm thinking too much, There's that, and then there's also like, if that's not a problem, I'm going to do my best to just breathe and not have to like ejaculate. Because why would I want to waste my seed? You know what I'm saying? Like, who is this girl, right? And then there's also the notion of if it's being stuck there. All of the time when I was in a long-term relationship, when I've had sex and I've tried to do the suck the semen up the spine thing, it doesn't really work. If the semen's being produced in the genital area and it's getting stuck in that like tube, I don't think you could suck it up your spine. You can suck the sexual energy up your spine, but you can't suck the physical semen in your spine. So I don't know how people say like ejaculate up your spine. I haven't experienced that yet. Maybe I haven't practiced sexual kung fu long enough, but if it's stuck there, I would just blow a load. And that's if you're in a long-term relationship, if you're having sex regularly. Yeah. So that's that. I think I pretty much answered any of that. So anyways, guys, if you're interested in sexual transmutation, if you're new to the channel, or if you're not new to the channel, check out my sexual transmutation free guide. It'll be one of these fingers, probably this one right here, sexual transmutation free guide. It's about 20 pages, 30 pages long. If you like it, invest in the full version. There's going to be a discount code when you read into it. I teach you how to transmute your sexual energy, how to diffuse your sexual impulses, the sexual desire, so that when you're aroused, when you're triggered, you don't impulsively give into sex. I teach you ways to develop your masculinity. I teach you the fundamentals of cultivating your sexual energy so that you become more vibrant, magnetic, and vital. Just look through the sexual energy free version and you'll be able to get a sense. And I'll also teach you breath work to circulate and transform it. Okay, so if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment on the video so that it boosts the algorithm. And then I'll also do some more videos on maybe if semen retention is dangerous. I kind of covered some of that, or talk about, there was some other stuff. Basically a little bit more about semen retention, okay? Oh, incel and celibate versus semen retention, okay? Because that's a legit topic, okay? That's a good one. Are you being an incel, right? Involuntary celibate just because you can't have sex with women, or you're choosing to do semen retention? There's going to be a fine line, but there's going to also be an overlap. So if you enjoyed this video again, give it a thumbs up. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.